Hi, good night, and welcome to Bench Talk. My name is Jason Clark, and tonight I'm joined by my fellow co-hosts, Mr. Hassani Evelyn, Damien Reed, Clint St. Hill, and Mr. Akeem Nero. And tonight we are joined by a very, very special guest, West Indies. I could call multiple things, but for now I'll just say West Indies and Barbados cricketer, and someone who will be all referred to as Mr. Remember the Name, Mr. Carlos Brathwaite.
Thanks for having me, gentlemen.
Good night, Mr.
I thought you was going to say former West Indies cricketer. So I was going to let you know I retired.
No.
I was listening for that too.
No. That would be one of the questions a little later, so I would never say that. I would never say that.
But honestly, I actually thought he was going to use call him my mere nickname.
No. Nobody. This is a professional show. Carlos, what's going on, buddy? It's been a long time. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I had a privilege of seeing a few of the episodes and watching a bit of the cut pieces. Enjoyed the one with Peter Clark. So for I guess 4 out of the 5 guys that on the call I know quite well, whether from BCC or cricketing circles. And happy to see you guys doing your thing. I know how much you love sports, and I think sports is big business, and I think you all got a lot of strong opinions, especially that one above me and shot Hassani. So happy to see that you guys have created a platform that you could share your opinion and share some knowledge to some persons that love sport like yourself, but probably don't have the access that you guys would have. So congrats, man.
Thanks a lot, buddy. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, man.
So I'd like to check in with the guys. How the guys doing? Nero, how you doing, my brother?
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. Just in tropics.
Sure enough. Yes, they got on a hoodie. And he bought that time when he tropics.
Just in tropics. We're back.
Oh, you're ready?
A cool month of vacation, so just relaxing, just breathing.
It's getting worse and worse, Jason, from the tropics to vacation.
That means you watch my horse, John Campbell, this morning. I top of the yard of a crike.
Yeah, I watch majority in it. I still get up, but I left home. But yeah.
Okay. We can get to that. We can get to that a little later. Well, Sonny, I heard you said it earlier that you're in a good mood because your team now has Russell Wilson. So
Sierra. Don't let me. It's a package deal, sir. It's a package deal.
Sorry. Okay. So you're good. Clay, what's going on, my brother?
Yeah, I'm pretty good as well. Just hoping for West Indies to consolidate tomorrow and it'll be an even happier man.
Okay. I mean, we all share that same sentiment there, but we'll see. We'll definitely see how that goes.
We ain't got no PSG fans on your show, right?
No.
No, or PSG, football, football in the area. But Carlos, before we get into the cricketing talk, I saw you have on your Instagram and your bio, basically you have cricketer, entrepreneur, husband. I think you're gonna have to update that now. You're gonna have to add dad. You're gonna have to add dad there. I saw you.
He's been a father for a while. There was what was the name of the dog again? No,
The dog.
Nala Brathwaite.
Are we adding low key to the
and the cat was added as well.
Yeah.
Big family.
Yeah. But yeah, Carlos, congrats. Like I said, you're now a dad. How has that journey been thus far? Are you up at night as well, or that is solely on the wife? Or you have I hope you're having some sicknesses as well.
Yes, boy. I would love here to say it. His nice pictures on Instagram. His dressing up and all that. Boy, listen, father look tough, yeah.
Rough, brother. Easy.
Boy, I salute mothers. I tell you no lie, boy. I don't got patience. I know if I was the mother and I was the father, that baby would be a potter. But thankfully, she got a gem of a mom.
Mhm.
No, it's been rewarding. It's not been all doom and gloom, but I think the hardest thing for me is I like to be problem solving. So when the baby crying and I
Yeah,
don't know why it crying is like,
it's
I
true,
mean,
buddy.
like, stop crying, brother, or like tell me what was the problem, like, and she can't talk yet. So yeah, I mean, the nappy change, you get feed, you ain't paying the
Mm.
bills, you ain't got nothing to worry about what you crying about. But yeah, she got a different level of patience than
But
me,
Carol,
man. But
Carol, you ever had one of them all nighters that baby just don't want to sleep?
so it's
That
been a
thing,
month, and I think I've had a month of all nighters. So I try to keep the baby during the day, let the madam get a little bit of rest, because
Mhm.
obviously I can't feed regardless.
correct.
Um,
The day is always
so
better for you, man.
yeah, and then I think the hardest thing for me is if I want to do some research or plan to do something downstairs at night, I say, all right, good, boom. I take my box and make sure I hold baby, whether she's sleeping or she up. Let mommy get some rest. So tonight she gonna be for mommy. And then you start doing something and you can hear the crying.
And you
Because I
run
put on my
upstairs.
no, I put on my headphones first, boy. I put on my headphones. And then my girl's kicking another gear, and it's be like, Daddy, you gotta hear this. I need you. And then I will get a call from upstairs to downstairs. She need changing, or I want you to come and do skin to skin, try to get she settled. So yeah, it's been rewarding, but I think it's shown me a different side of parenting and motherhood, and I got a different level of respect for mothers and the patience that they
Carol,
need to get the
always tell,
children from one age to another.
Mhm.
always tell
Mhm.
people that's the toughest, but once you're asking a father is the most rewarding job there is.
But
The end
how
that
you get through it?
you never get show.
I'm,
You don't forget to it.
am you painting a gloom picture for me now, yeah?
Listen, listen. For example, my last summer sick part what baby came. Just crying, coughing, vomiting. Over test negative. This ear infection just take a turn just like man in the room. Man was done for like 3 days and you're sad cause you're begging it just to come back. No, Carlos, you just wish that you just lay down a little longer. You get a hospital. Yeah, but you don't want no other way. Yeah, you had a rough. Just don't. You don't want no other way, man. When you see the growing up and think knowing that you put in work and it don't mean no other feeling. But the baby stage, I just miss. I just miss it. Cause man, the baby Carlos just want to grow up. It's when they grow up and they get more
Fuck.
teeth and they think they know
You want to
everything.
be a handball. Fuck.
Yeah.
Uh, well,
Be
like I
funny.
said, Carlos, congrats on that, and I know you'll be an excellent father. So I wish you all the best on that journey of fatherhood, buddy.
I appreciate that, man. I hope so. I hope I can live up to these lofty expectations, James, boy.
uh, okay, that's like yeah, we're gonna get into the cricketing side of things now. First I like to get a gist of where the love of the game first. Sorry, when did you realize that you really loved the game of cricket? When you realize that you really wanted to play the game of cricket? When you far back as you remember, when did that time really happen?
I could say as far back as I can remember, as you say,
Mm-hmm.
because my dad made sport at me now saying that I used to drive a cricket ball at 3 years old better than they do now. Um, he he was a big cricket man, played for Lodge Road, played for Dover. So as far back as I can remember, cricket was in the blood. As a lot of people may know, Jonathan Carter is my cousin. So we would have a lot of summers. We were both very bad behaved at the point in time. So we spent a lot of summers fighting. But in the middle of them fights, there would be a lot of competitive cricket, both all rounders as well. So we could bowl and bat as well as the other one. Um, and to be honest, from one end, I had my dad to live up to and live past because he was like a legend at the clubs that he played for. And then Just down the road was Jonathan Carrington, my cousin, who was a primary school legend. I think probably one of the only men to score 110 wickets in the same game at primary school level. So it was
Oh,
always around me, and I always had a lot to look up to and live up to and try to surpass. And it was just a love of the game, man. I guess one of my best stories, cricket wise, was fortunately grew up in Lodge Road. John was in Gore Hill, and we used to, play cricket together a lot. But when he went to St Andrew, I was outside in Martin Nurse. Grew up in Lodge Road as well. Um, and we'd play in the road, and you'd play if the ball hits any houses full, you're out and that sort of stuff. But one of the rules that we implemented was that if you batting last when everybody decided to stop, you could bat first tomorrow. And I was batting good, brother. It was informed that whole month. And I ended up batting last, and I remember going in. I was like, "Cool, you know how you can do when you come home from school or whatever." And I come home late from school the next day, and my mother was just like, "Yeah, Ricky, you need to do your homework before you go outside." And I was like, "Nah, brother, like I got back though, like I hit too much form." And so my mother was adamant, "You gotta do your homework first. You gotta have a bath." I was like, "Mommy, I can smell sweaty regardless. I need to go and bath." And I remember going in the shower, turning on the water, pulling back the curtain, going outside here, and I make sure I get my batting. But you see, when I get back home, brother,
Licks, bro.
leather belt in the shower. But I tell you, it'll worth every last going back home for a solid hour and a half. Yeah, man, cricket has always been around me from a family perspective. And I guess when you're looking in and around, with all due respect to other sports, the only real sport that you can look and see a pathway from primary school to secondary school to professional cricket to West Indies level and top of your craft is really and truly cricket.
yeah, that's true. And like you said, the path you stated the path there, and then you went you. I know you went to the Combermere Secondary School, which is known. That school has produced a lot of West Indies cricketers actually. Like say yourself, Roston Chase, Craig Brathwaite, Shane Dorrich. Yeah, a lot of you guys. I think not I think I know Roddy Eswick was definitely the coach there at that time. So yeah, you definitely were on that path. At what stage, you said you always had cricket in your blood. At what stage, did you say to yourself, I want this is what I want to do for a living, and I want to play at the highest level?
I think I think if you're doing something, you want to be best at it. But if I be honest, I don't think at any point in time during age level cricket, I thought I was the best at anything. And I had a cousin that was Jonathan Carter that ace everything. All of my friends were better than me. Shamar Brooks, primary school and secondary school legend, played 2 years
Correct.
of our seniors on the 19. Jed Yearwood, most runs for Barbados on 19
19.
ever. Yeah, I think he and Ronaldo Paris either were tied or he was just ahead or just below Ronaldo Paris. And then my cousin was a legend as well. So for me, it was always a love of the game and trying to push myself as far as I think my talent could go. I never thought I was the most talented. I could never tell you 15 years ago that I would be where I am today and have done what I would have done. Um, but for me, it was just about making sure that I was the best that I could potentially be. When it comes to the more serious, this is the path I want to take. I love my mom, and this is probably one of the things that I'd be indebted to her for forever. I just at BCC had a decent first semester. GPA 3.1 or 3.21, something like that. And I was like, geez, that's strange because I don't like the schoolwork. But I got stuck in. She took out a student loan. And then I remember the second semester got into senior trials, and it was just real difficult to do both. And I salute men like Kyle Corbin, Chadwick Walton, who were able to not only do both, but do it at a first class level.
Currency
Um,
and those good.
yeah, and it was just like, mommy, I mean, it was, I think that GPA dropped from 3.1, I think, to 1.9 or something like that. And I was like, mommy, to be honest, I don't know if I could do both. and I could get a degree at 60. I can't play for West Indies at 60. And that was such a difficult conversation to have because we ain't come from a rich family, rich background, and she went out on a limb to put herself in debt to put me through school. And now a year into a 2 or 3 year program, I saying I actually want to done away with school and pursue cricket. And I think that kind of galvanized my drive and my hunger. I couldn't fail because I had my mom to play for. So as much as I watching that ball come down and they playing shots, and I obviously want the personal glory as we all do. You want to be famous, you want to have your name in headlights, you want to perform well, you want to do justice to your talent. I had an extra burden of having to pay back my mom and her belief and her trust in me. And I remember she always say, Ricky, whatever you want to do, I will support you. If you want to be a garbage collector, be the best garbage collector you could be. And it was like, there's so many times that I think about that and I remember that moment and tears come from my eye. And I just think, yeah, Mom, I owe you everything that I would have been able to achieve. All of this belongs to you. And not to say that my dad wasn't a big part. I was fortunate to come from a two-parent home. And I now realize how much of a privilege that was. And both of them played good cop, bad cop at different points in time. But for that particular reason of, going out of her way to get a student loan and then being willing enough to be paying back a student loan that I wasn't actively trying to pursue the degree from, I thought that was special on her part. Let me put my laptop to charge. Sorry, gents.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Turn up.
You were any Miss Cricket tonight?
India and New Zealand should be playing at 9. Underdogs India.
That's nice. Please. You even do that for Miss Cricket too?
The underdogs.
Actually, you did it for the under 19, so yeah. No surprise.
Yeah, I guess we have Carlos about here. Interesting story there, Carlos. I know you are definitely someone who's definitely isn't shy to show your level of appreciation for your parents. I know you have your parents all over your Instagram, so it's definitely good to hear that story, man. And so I want to move on now to the first class, to your first class debut. You played for the combined. You made your first class debut for the combined campuses and colleges, and you really hit the ground running. You really hit the ground running in that debut. And from what I remember, did you start? Did you play that first game? I think someone was injured.
Yeah, so I didn't play first game, and it's funny enough because I led on from I made my debut for Barbados in the T20, and I came in for Kemar Roach, and all the cricket commentators on the calling program said, "Well, you're picking up bits and pieces cricket like Carlos Brathwaite before a test player like Roach," and I didn't do badly, but the team performed poorly. And I think that's the game that we went to Super Over. And the three biggest hitters in Barbados can get a run: Dwayne Smith, Carlo Morris, and who was the other batsman? Boy, I can't remember. It was three. We lost 2 wickets for 0 runs, essentially.
Was it Alcindor?
Yeah, so it's Alcindor, Dwayne Smith, and Carlo Morris. 3 biggest hitters in Barbados, and we even get 1. And then actually Hampshire lost a wicket. Had a close call, and they take the 4th ball to win off, trying to get 1. So it was a very poor game by both teams, and I fell victim. I got dropped out of the team and never came back in. And then I think that was the same year Jason and Shane Dowrich came back from Jason Holt and Shane Dowrich came back from West Indies on 19, and they say you and Jason can't play together. So then I was on the outside, and I think I had a decent season, and I warranted a selection. And I don't know how many people know, but I love Floyd Reefer, and I owe a lot of my career to him. I remember him having a chat with me at the Oval, and saying, Carlos, will you be selected for Barbados or not? And I say, I don't think so. Hearing rumors that Jay is coming back, they'll be available. And as a result, I will gotta miss out, which is a tough pill to swallow. And he was like, I want to play for CCC. And at that time, I didn't care about the rivalry between Barbados and CCC. As a young man trying to make my way, it's the same first class. I want to play. Like, the reason is being in the gym, the reason is be running and training so hard is to get opportunity and make the most of it. And at that time, actually, I had a lot of pushback. I came in for Nikolai Paris, who was a CCC stalwart, and a lot of people at the time figured Nikolai Paris plays for UE. He's put in the hard yards for CCC when it wasn't the popular thing to do. Why we letting this young upstart come and replace Nick Parr? And I had to deal with that. And to be honest, I was focused on, I come to board, I come to bat, I come to catch. When I could do anything politically, this is what I come to do. And obviously got left out of the first game. And I remember each day of that first game, I run, take 100 catches, and bowl balls at the end. Like, I was on a path to prove that I good enough to play at this level. I'm not just a bits and pieces player. I think it was the second or third game. We got to Trinidad to play against Trinidad, and I got a knock on my door from Keon Otley. We were cool from before that, and he was just like, Carlos, my back is a bit stiff, a bit sore. So I can't tell you if you can play. I don't know who can play, but there are only 13 players. So you knew if one player missed out, I was probably next in line. But just be ready. So a person that I am, I didn't try to get too excited. So I was like, now you're going to be good. Good luck tomorrow, ting. Got the nod. Basically, Carlos, you're in. And I think it worked better that way because you didn't have time to be too nervous or whatever. And then first innings of the game was pretty ordinary. I get given up another Nero, teeth me out. Ball come off my tripod, out caught, and then I bowl well, but only get one wicket or something. And then the second innings, we batted first, didn't we? Yeah, the second innings, I couldn't pick Dave Mohammed. I could have never played. I could have never attack spin. I could have bat spin, but I can't really attack spin. And I didn't have a clue what Dave Mohammed was doing. But we was in trouble. And I tell Floyd, like, brother, like, what you want? You want to bat it for me? Like, I can find a way. And I remember backing up from real far behind to try to get any clues as to if the ball has come out slower when there's a googly, when it was bowling at Floyd or faster or whatever. And somehow he managed to get to 60 odd, give us a chance, and then bowling wise, I bowled 25 overs on a trot and get, I think, 7 for. And to this day, it's probably one of the best dismissals I've ever concocted. Would have been to the late Ronaldo Martin, may he rest in peace. I bowled, I think, 3 overs of away swingers, and he left all decent length or whatever. And then the first ball, the 4th over, deck backer, left alone, middle and leg stump, gone. I enjoyed that one. That's probably the wicket that I enjoyed the most. So yeah, I had an eventful start. We eventually lost the game, but my 7 wickets ran the game fairly close, and I think in the end I ran out of steam. And as a team, we just didn't have enough in the locker. But it was a good state of, from that team, that we are here as a young team. We just come to make up numbers. We're actually here to compete. And for that debut season, we finished top of the league table and lost in the finals.
Okay. But before I let someone jump in here, Carl, you said you bowled 25 overs on your trot?
Man, I bowled 25 overs now, probably in a week gonna be rough. But I bowled 25 on trot, brother.
Wow.
I had one and Floyd. I give myself the name G2G, go-to guy. Yeah, I know that's some a little cocky. I ain't gonna lie. But
you need a little bit of that.
But I mean, if you're watching the show, you obviously following cricketer, Carlos Brathwaite. But I mean, I just need to reiterate that Carlos Brathwaite, he's not off spinner. So overs is real overs, Carlos.
It's true.
But
Even for offie.
Even for off
That's
spinner.
that's one of the
Yeah,
times though where your
Even for
adrenaline get the
spinner, she said.
better of you.
yeah.
Your
Your
adrenaline,
tailor, and it
yeah.
will carry that extra further. Yeah.
Cause your ball, if your ball was 16, 15, 16 overs, because we got a Gristle from the other end and Kansas Sing. Them is get through overs very quickly.
Yeah.
So you're probably bowling 8, 9 overs in a session, then you got a fairly longish break, and then you're coming back. So with a ball, I think 16 um, in the 2 sessions, then come back the next day and start the ball again because the game finished just before lunch on the fourth day.
That's some ball in
Yeah,
there.
that's some serious fitness. Carlos, on the note of fitness, there,
Mm.
obviously we've seen you working here with Bada Beans here in Barbados, Jamar, and as some other people will know him, but and then overseas, we always see you with a lot of training videos and stuff like that. Just for because they always use you as an example for young kids coming up in the sport. Could you just give a little bit more insight into why you have made that decision to invest in your health the way that you do, but while you're here and overseas as well? Like what's the real importance to you? I mean, why you would have made that decision?
Um, I think when I was captain of West Indies team, I took a lot of things for granted. Still love the game, was still hungry, still do the bare minimum fitness wise. And then I remember there was a picture circulating. I actually still have both of them on my phone. And every time I feel as though I fall off the wagon, I look back to them. And I really didn't like the shape that I was in. I always get a couple of niggles. I don't think I'll ever have a six pack, but that was real far. That was real far away from a six pack. That was a keg that I was carrying. Um, and I guess I got into a bad habit of touring the world, playing franchise cricket, being left to my own devices, and probably not doing as much as I should have. And then once the performances start to drop and you start to ask yourself why, one of the reasons that I realized I could have improved on was my fitness. But at the point in time, it was quite difficult because I'd be playing in India today, Bangladesh tomorrow, Pakistan the day after. Then you're coming back home for a little bit. Um, so then I realized I had to set up something in Barbados where when I was home, um, I would have someone that I almost indebted to. Um, I told you this is what we can do. I owe you my time, and it helps then them giving me that same energy for my fitness. So Jamar Griffith JG Fitness, as his business is called, has been real important for me. We kind of bounce off each other, and I can be honest. I think there's that person, that athlete that is real self-motivated and real self-driven and could do all these in-home workouts during quarantines and all that. I am not that person. I think
Right.
I probably found out too late. So when I was at the academy, I was good. Six pack, meet all the fitness requirements, was able to do everything that I was told, but I need structure. Because I didn't realize that early enough, I just figured that I would find that drive and that urge somewhere. But when I actually realized it, became aware, and then I put that structure in place, it was then easier. When I come home, I let JG know we work on a program. This is what I want to do. Whether it be strength, whether it be cardio, whether it be toning, bulking, power, whatever. We have that conversation, and then I know, boom, Monday morning at 5:30, 6 o'clock, JG will be outside. We go down by the pool, we do something, and if it's running that we want to do, I need to contact the people at UE, try to use the Usain Bolt track. But now I've created that structure. All I need to do is turn up and give 100%, and that's what I can do. But doing that without a structure has been difficult for me. So then I realized that once I had that in Barbados, it was fine. But then my wife lives in England, started to spend more time in England, and I find that I'll come to England and then leave England in worse shape than I was in. And for me, I don't know if it is a thing, the scientists will have to say, but I find I lose fitness real quickly, put on weight quickly.
We
And
getting
one thing
older, Carlos. We getting older,
yeah,
boy.
and
Yeah.
my diet ain't the best. I can be honest. If it's one thing that I would say regret, but I know I can pinpoint and improve is my diet. So then I had to put that structure in place again in England. So that's why you'll see if I'm in England, I working with Matt and BPT.
Yeah.
as his business is called. And if I in Barbados, you see me with JG because I know how important it is. And I think it really came to the fore, that commitment and that structure when I played for CCC and captain, and we won in 2018, I think it was. Um, that tournament was grueling. That was play, rest or train, play, rest or train, and then they had two buddies. So you'd have two periods in the week when it would be like a 3 day break. When on the one of the playing days you wouldn't be playing, so you'd have a rest. And every single training day, I would have done a workout with JG in the morning and then gone to UV to practice with CCC, and it was structured. So I know he playing this game starting at 9 a.m. But on the day after, I up at 5:30, working out with JG, having a breakfast, having a shower, and then heading to UE for 8:30 to be ready for 9 o'clock. And my fitness improved a lot. Was able to bowl them 10 overs, whether it be 2 5 over spells or maybe a 4 3 and a 3. And then batting wise, I was able to build the innings for an extended period of time because I could think more clearly.
Yeah, definitely even improve your mental capacity for sure when you're fit.
Yeah. Yeah, Carlos, Nero here. Right. I would have. I would have made my debut against you probably about 16 years ago. I remember playing against you at Maple. Then we were playing for Banks, and the team with Alan Jono and Ramon Seeley and probably Keegan and those guys. I just want you to tell us about the transition because I like to, when I have players of your caliber in show, and the youngsters at club level are listening. I like to let them know how important the club life is. So I just like to know from you, obviously when you was coming at the Dawn levels, you understand what those guys did for you, and then when you made the CCC team, now you became the leader. I know after that he was West Indies captain. I know like the different phases of leadership and stuff like that in the dressing rooms at the club level. Yeah.
Yeah, that's important because I feel as though in Barbados, especially, we've lost that little bit of club life, and not a lot of people would know. But I credit Winston Reid a lot for my career as a mentor, and I would have learned so much cricket off the field from Winston, um, because the club life happens in such a way that if we're playing Wanderers, after every day, they bring a case of beer in the dressing room. If we're playing at Banks, Brad Egan come over and talk to Winston Reid, and you just there like a fanboy, just listening to these stories, whether it be on the field, off the field. You go to Maple, and that's probably Pedro Aguiar.
Yeah, Gary.
Um, and you got all these different figureheads in different clubs, and every time you play against them, the 2 or 3 figureheads will have conversations, and you learn so much things about cricket, about life. It helps you to become a man. And I realized that as that era left and our era became leaders, cruising took over. So cricket finished, and before you done the team meeting, a man in the bath, he ready to go to a cruise, and that's
Correct.
fine. There's a place for a social life, but you want that social life to be cricket oriented as well.
Yeah.
And Banks won in 2007, and there is not a dressing room around the world I think that I can say was a lot better than that Banks dressing room. We used to have our tiffs, used to tell off each other, but it was all for one common goal. And we used to party together, sleep at the club, and then play cricket the next day. Everything was club and cricket oriented. And I don't expect everyone to do that now, but there need to be ways where clubs can have the players and the figureheads, the leaders. At Wanderers, they have this fish fry going. I love it. Imagine being able to rub shoulders with a Jason Holder and a Craig Brathwaite. You got two recent West Indies Test captains. It got to be Shane Mosley was now a part of the Test team or the Test setup for a while. It got to be important for a young man to be able to ask a question or two, maybe not even ask a question, but just listening to conversation. And I think that is missing a bit from our club cricket, and it's something that I tried to do even when I went to the higher levels. So at CPL level, we would have had something, I think it's the Nevis Patriots, where We don't have a team meeting at the ground. We just try to leave the ground as quickly as possible, but we always have drinks in the team room. So we kind of have our team meeting over a beer. And for the persons that don't drink alcohol, there'll be soft drinks, there'll be bottled water. But essentially, you can't get buy-in from everyone in a team setting all the time. So it's about creating a setting where people feel as though they're at the bar or they're in a social setting. And then I, as captain, could come to a fella and ask him, how you find the dressing room as a youngster or as a senior statesman. What do you think about the dressing room? What do you think I can improve as a skipper? How you rate your performance? This is what I think about your performance. It has a more casual ring to it, and you feel like you're having a conversation versus a meeting. And I think that dynamic is different, especially for us in the Caribbean. We're more laid back. So that club life is definitely important. It's definitely missing. I don't exactly know what is the right way to get it back, but I can tell you that it did a lot for me as a human, as a person, as a leader, and it taught me a lot of cricket off the field.
And one question before I let one of you guys go. I don't know how to say it, but obviously at the time before leading up to the 2016 World Cup, you would have been, finding your way, trying to, really cement that team. Would you say after the 4 sixes, you were judged on a different pedestal?
Yeah, I'd say that from two angles. On from one angle, there was a lot more hype, and I bought into the hype a little bit as well. So I remember a couple of games after in the Troy series, we had 4 runs to win or something like that. And the smart thing to do is just knock it around with 15 overs left. But I wanted to be a hero, try to hit a 6. You get caught, you make 7, your average dip a little bit. The victory is not as convincing as it should be, and you fall prey to your hype. And you just think about that scenario, and then 2 bad shots later or 2 good balls later, you have 5 low scores. All of a sudden, your average down in the dumps. And then from the other side of things, I think people kind of forgot what we would have did in red ball cricket in 2015 for Barbados, in 2015 for West Indies, whether it be a tour game or actual test cricket, and you get pigeonholed as a hitter. And a lot of people close to me still tell me, Carlos, you're a batsman, you're not a hitter. And when you get back to exuding batsmanship, that's when you hit the ball better and cleaner. And I agree. And there are a few younger players now that I talked to, and I said, look, I had no one there to tell me what to do when you become an overnight success. I've gone through it, and there's certain things that I would have done differently. And I guess I pledge the rest of my career and the rest of the time that I on earth that if anyone else has a similar impact on cricket or in life in any situation, whether it be winning the lottery, because that's an overnight success, whether it be doing something spectacular in a game and all of a sudden you got a newfound acclaim, this is actually what I would have done and it didn't work. So these are some of the pitfalls to watch out for. I never tell someone how to live the life, but I can only share my experiences, some of the things that I did that wouldn't have worked for me, and some of the things that I can suggest you have a look at and be aware of.
Yeah. Before I let one of the guys there, Jamaica, I totally agree with you there. Like you are a batsman. Yes, you're all right. We all know you're a good bowler as well, but you're a batsman. Like I remember in Jamaica, seeing you play in that U10 T20 that classic Garras. The level of batsmanship that both you and Jason Holder showed on that tour, boy, it was unbelievable. You like, yes, like I said, you guys are all rounders, you guys are not all rounders, but the level of battle that you guys displayed on that tour was amazing. And as Nero said, like after the 4 sixes, like I used to get so many arguments when I hear people talking about Carlos this and Carlos. It's like Carlos base. I mean, yes, it was a team effort. Nero would love to hear me say this. Yes, Marnus Thomas was a huge part. Marnus Thomas was a huge part, obviously, of that. He was always a huge part of us winning that World Cup. But I mean, we had 19 runs to get for this last over. I think
got to swing for the hills.
got to speak for the hills. A
I
man
tell you
with
what,
4 half volleys. A man that can bat hit all 4 for 6. You understand?
Respect.
And then after that, we correct like it really and truly used to piss me off when I hear people crying down and think after that. Like it really and truly used to just rub people wrong way, honest
yeah,
to God. But I get less than one, I get less than one, I get less than one.
but
In the day.
on that is a part of the fame, the privilege, the opportunity. Yes, you gotta
True,
get a bit negative too. But
true,
I would say like I fall prey to the franchise system. It glitzy, it glamorous, and I would not change anything that happened how it happened. Um, but I wish that earlier I had realized, Carlos. To be honest, you being one place today and one place, a different place next week, and you get pick as by as a hitter or whatever finisher. You batting 4 overs, 3 overs. You're not playing red ball cricket. You're not playing much 50 over cricket. You don't really have a chance to build the innings and, as you said, exude that batsmanship. Because people say, "Man, Carlos is a batsman." But if you're not doing it, that's like saying,
yes,
Clint, you play
yes,
that simulation game, go and fly a 747. It don't just happen, so you gotta
yeah,
do it over a period of
yeah,
time to
yeah,
actually believe it
yeah,
and believe that you can do it.
yeah.
So I actually had a youngster ask me about that real recently, about falling prey to the franchise trap. And I said, look, depending on how much money it is, I would never come to my own pockets. But I just know that if you're getting 20, 30, $40,000, that's not going to be life changing. A lot of people would be listening and saying, well, let me get that in now. It's a lot of money. I will like it now too. But in the grand scheme of things, I know that 20, 30, $40,000 at 19, 20, 21, 22 not going to change your life.
Yeah.
But if you can develop batsmanship, bowl more balls, get better fitness into your body, into your legs, and then you can make it to international level more consistently, that 20 grand will turn into 200 grand. And then all of a sudden, that's a life changing amount of money. You can start to set your family up that your parents don't ever have to work again, and you could actually tour the world and live your life as a professional.
Yeah, Carlos.
But real
Um,
quick thing for you, thing, but that's only Carlos Nero. And that's how describe yourself there. Yeah, to me, yeah, you know what I'm saying? He said travel the world, I see him in different spots, life changing money. He said man at Formula One, yes, it's only Chris Judy, man, his blueprint, and that's him. And fellas,
Well,
Right.
I guess that's what he can give, the the corporate advice
correct,
that he's giving.
correct. Yeah, Carlos. I hear Nero talking just now about making his debut against you, sorry, 16 years ago. I know Jason usually do it, but I hear Jason do it. So I can ask the question. I don't sugarcoat it. Be real. Rate with my all spin bowling.
I rated Nero. I heard a lot about Nero, and then when I saw him first, and I was like, man, this ain't nothing special. But then as you see over a period of time, it's like yeah, this man know what he's doing. It's not a
An
stone on the
Aquarius.
right.
He's an
Yeah,
Aquarius.
it's not a stone on the right that's spinning the ball both ways, but
Right.
he landing the ball on the spot all the
All
time.
the
And I
time.
think that's when the left arm spin had now really come into the fore, running the ball onto your pad, and this was a right arm spinner, just landing the ball on a 10-cent piece. So it looked ordinary. Tell yourself, you remind me of like, and if you remember Paul Harris from South Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Mm.
remember Kurt Edwards playing against South Africa. I think it was South Africa at that time. And it come up in some conversation, and Kurt was like, he's the most difficult spinner, or one of the most difficult spinners he'd ever faced. And everybody was like, you mean, man, just do that? Like, ain't nothing happened there. But the man got such subtle variation. It come from day one, ball, flight one, ball it a little quicker, but landing the same spot. And Nero reminded me of that. So I ain't gonna look at Nero. I ain't gonna pull out my chair, sit down with a glass of drink in my hand and think, this little man gonna be a world beater. But if I watch you over the course of a season, I tell myself, rah boy, this man got the tools to do the business for real. So yeah, I be honest. I didn't think at first. I was like, man, there's much ado about nothing. But then the more you watch your man play, it's like, shh, it's not hard to beat. Yeah.
That's a nice political answer, man.
I ain't really paid on that.
You still in BBC mode? You still in BBC mode? Well done, man. You right, man. You right.
This kind of
This guy call me BBC
this kind of
close enough.
10 o'clock. I got
Just
cut this
saying.
clip. I go I got cut this clip.
Yes. I sorry to interrupt that, Carlos, but I don't think the fee paid out just now, just that segment, Carlos. That I don't think that's wrong with it. I don't think. Question, Carlos. I want hard box the saying you were saying. Anything ever fair to say more than one forum. In terms of the cricket and the club level of cricket. Club cricket was vibrant, and a lot of tip ball, community cricket, and village cricket used to play like non-stop. So these guys who make communities, as you said, growing the communities playing, and the man was saying, so, man, you bowling very good. You ever think we're playing hard ball, man? Come up to the club, man, see, but you don't get that. No, you hardly see village cricket one, and a lot of table, a lot of proper table cricket too. Cause like, as you said, village cricket used to teach you to defend and play within limitations. So no big hitting. Cause you said you hit the hoses, you out. So you can play a little cover drive fancy, soft hands, but you don't get that no. So I think we gotta bring back that sort of cricket to get back to that our social thing at the clubs. Because that was
Yeah,
an integral part. That was an integral part.
I agree with that. And I would say too is I don't know when the change happened, but I think they had a point in time where everybody that was 32, 33 in local cricket, the narrative was if they can't play for West Indies, let a little man play. Yeah, and we end up with so many teams being combined schools. With all due respect to combined schools, but you can't have 11 young men learning on the job. I come up with Barry Calendar, Richard Carter, Winston Reed, Anderson Seeley. And I had periods in time Anderson Seeley was both the little man and the senior man. I had Gregory Allen, Phuket. Them men will let you know where to get off. So you can't, and I can tell you something, if you had me, John and Carter, Kofi Hurdle, Ramon Seeley, and another 7 of we, all of we probably won't be here. But we had senior men that would have allowed us to express ourselves, make mistakes, but then be strong enough to pull we back in line, keep we feet on the ground. I remember Jonathan playing for Barbados. I think John was playing for Barbados at the time and probably well on the way to being established. Well, a lot of us was getting to trials and trying to get in. And if you get a one game, trying to be a constant. And John Carter come in that dressing room, he give you respect. He's the best player, although he's a little man. But John Carter can't tell Barry Calendar nothing. If you tell Barry Calendar something, Winston Reed can get in. Richard Carter can get in, Phuket can get in, and I'm backing it John Carter against for them. I'm sorry, it's a way to because a die, turn up the ride. So I think club cricket lost a lot of the stalwarts because everybody basically pushed them to BCL and say, look, you're 32, you can't play for Barbados, you can't play for West Indies, you can't play First Division. I look at a situation like South Africa A. Justin Ontong played for South Africa A till he was about 35 and captain. But whilst he was captaining and not probably being looked in to representing South Africa's senior team, he was ushering a whole new generation of players. And I think we need to find at each club 1 or 2 senior players who can carry the mantle on the field, whether they captain or whether they have a young man as captain and they guide him on the field, and a man as manager that's strong enough to pull up somebody when they do something wrong and offer a pathway and a guideline for a bunch of young men that could easily be running around like headless chickens if they weren't the leaders around.
But Sonny, just to piggyback off of the point with experience, I remember when they went Alexandra, John went there, John and Kimar and those guys were not there, but those guys were playing for combined schools or probably Barbados. So I was immediately one senior man in the upper intermediate team, and I played a lot of cricket up until that stage, and we played Dover. Didn't know you're accustomed to the conventional swing ball earlier in the innings, but this time I was probably batting him in order. Vibert Green and these old guys, it's all right.
Big one.
The guy started the ball upside off stump, like 6 stumps upside off stump. and beating me on the inside of the leg stand and things. So it was like up until that stage, playing against guys in my age group. Nobody wasn't scratching the ball or doing whatever, the tampering with the ball, you know. So it was only after that particular game I said, yo, well, if I can be playing at this level or get to another level, because at that level, at that age, you're still thinking you could make it. It's like I got to go through these sort of experiences, even with the red tape ball and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Although you know, you take the red tape ball a bit, it swings a bit earlier, but up until that point when I faced Vibrant Green and that Dover team, I've never faced a ball like that in my life, ever.
And the thing is, if you're in an upper intermediate team that got beer
Scoop, correct.
15, 16-year-old man, everybody looking at everybody like, Corbler.
Yeah, lost.
Yeah, correct.
But if you got 2 senior men now, a man will pull the man that got back next to one side and say, Nero
This was
hero.
happening.
Yeah, when the ball decking back so or the vibrators the man want deck back the ball, back on all stumps, because when the ball decking back, you can defend your body easy and defend space. Or you might very well say when Nero knows an offside man, get yourself room. So instead of batting middle, back leg stump, free up your hands, and you know to either block the ball and defend your stump. If you get a little whiff, you play your shots. But you don't have them options.
Or
So
battle
you
the
can take you
race.
or
Battle
battle
the
the crease.
crease, cut.
Clear
Or
your
just
left leg or clear your left leg early.
Yeah.
correct. Even the man coming and saying, big man, like, right now, we able to get a skill out, get what you could get. You don't got them options, because all the one in the same boat. So you can
Correct.
take one a year and a half, 2 years to learn something that we can easily learn and experience in half hour. Or a spell. Let me say a spell is 8-10 overs.
Yeah, cause Carson saying senior man will tell you, wicket rat, do not flick the ball. Don't flick the ball.
First fingernails, Brett.
Carlos, I saw that you were out of the game for a little bit, missing on the circuit last year and what's not, and I saw that you were back in training. So you're still bowling the same pace that you were bowling before.
Yeah, like that.
So
Yeah,
so
like.
warm up delivery that we're still at this your normal pace. How has that journey been? Obviously from injury and obviously being back here. Obviously, you spoke about a lot about fighting against the odds and from young, just fighting against lots of different things. So just walk us through the injury and where we are now, seeing you actually bowl again.
So how the injury happened? It was in the 100, dive at a ball, and I felt something on my shoulder, but as you know, your blood heart is just another little niggle or whatever. And then there was actually a game that in the 100 we get blast for 200, real short spell. And then after the game we drove back down from Leeds. We drove back down from Leeds to Manchester, and I just remember getting off the bus and thinking, no, that my body cooled down. Like this thing still hurting real bad, like a stretch. And this thing hurting bad. And then we drove from Manchester to Nottingham, so it was about 2.5 hour drive, if memory serves me correct. I remember I drove myself, and I was talking to Sam here, and I was telling him, like, my shoulder hurting me real bad for something that's just a niggle. But I didn't pay much mind. We had one game left, and then I couldn't practice the next day. I couldn't bring my hand over properly. The physio worked through it. We get through it, and I was able to play the last game, and I think both 2 sets of 5. After that game, though, it was like a solid week. I did nothing because it was moving house. I moved from Oxford to Portsmouth, so driving up and down. Didn't get any physio, and just waiting to do commentary for the finals, for the 100. And then left the day after the finals for CPL. Got to CPL then, and this pain would not ease up. And then it turned to like stiffness now. So when I get CPL, I, in quarantine, try to bring over my hand, and like literally my hand was not going past there. And I messaged the physio because I knew her from the year before, and I was just like, I actually think I might be in Potter here. And it wasn't now malicious of me knowing that I injured and making sure that I turned up to collect a paycheck. I genuinely thought this thing gonna go away with a few days of rest. And we work away. In CPL. I was able to bowl like a 2 over here and a 3 over there, leading into the end of the tournament. Got it checked. Some boys say it was only inflammation, but I didn't get a proper scan. Just get the what you just call it when people when women pregnant.
Ultrasound.
Ultrasound.
Ultrasound. So
Yeah.
ultrasound picked up inflammation. So everybody was like, okay, that's consistent with what we think you have. So then they're just like, okay, go back. When you go back home, do physio regularly and rest. I message JG, brother, I ain't doing no work for these 2.5 weeks. I think it was 3 weeks. I ain't doing no work for these 3 weeks, but I can rest my shoulder, get ready for Big Bash because I can have a big bash, a good big bash again, and get by an IPL. Realize I doing sessions 4 days a week, hour a day, boom, needles, massage, this thing, that thing, like putting my body through it, and this thing just ain't getting it better. I think the last straw was I was somewhere and hold my hand up, and then I was just like, nah, boy, that too sharp for after 3 weeks, or by that time it was about 2.5 weeks, for not getting it better with rest and with work. Went and get MRI, had a tear of the labrum. So I guess the physio people and the muscular people will know what the labrum is, but it's not a muscle; it's just like a sheath, so it don't actually grow back or heal back. So I needed to have surgery. Um, and I get back to England, and they said, "Nah, boy, you're going for a second opinion." I believe when gone for a second opinion, and I was fortunate enough to have a good connection with a proper surgeon that would have done Rahul Dravid, Sachin Tendulkar, Premier League footballers, slotting, get a consultation, and he was like, "Sorry to say it, but yeah, if you take a cortisone injection, you'll be a get to big bash, but you can't operate on 100%, and you risk injuring it even further. And if you tear your bicep, that's curtains for you as a bowler." So I say, yeah, all right, let me do your surgery. And yeah, after that surgery, when I get back, like you lost the opportunity to get big bash. I had a real lucrative commentary gig that I had to turn down as well. So then it was like you're missing out on money, and then to rub salt into the wounds, um, I was told that the insurance would not cover my surgery, so I had to pay everything out of pocket, surgery, the nights that I would spend in the hospital recovering. I was a private hospital in London, so I think wouldn't know what's going on there, and all the rehab since. Um, so I can't clinically diagnose myself with depression, but I know I went through there. It was rough mentally. And then having a pregnant wife, it was like, I mean, yeah, you're going through something, but she growing a whole child. So it was a little of a sticky situation. Um, Wanting to let my emotions out, but also being wary that somebody else in the house going through a lot on their own as well. And I think the way that I deal with things, I try to distract myself. Um, and I'd been accepted for a Harvard Business School course a year and a half to 2 years prior. And I was like, you know what, like if I stay in this house, I can go mad. So I contacted Harvard, got reapplied, got reaccepted. So that was a trip away. Um, then got the opportunity to commentate for West Indies on 19 World Cup. That was more time away, and all the while I was just trying to like chip away and chip away and chip away. But yeah, it was a dark time, and you're watching people in your position, your friends, your foes. You're watching everybody perform, and like you feel helpless because like I'm working hard and I just can't add to. For me personally, I think I had a real good year last year. It started with Big Bash. I had the second most wickets for the Sixers. We lifted the trophy. Um, then I went PSL, had a decent start there. We lifted the trophy there as well. And then in the English summer, I had the most wickets up until I had COVID, and at probably third, because I missed a couple of games. And then in the 100, I thought I batted really well and proved to people that, you know, I could bat again. CPL with the bat I think I did okay. Could have done a lot better. Um, but it was like all of that was building up to another big bash, and then
Yeah.
hopefully into a good
IPL.
IPL contract, and then to have all that ripped from in front of me, it was real hard to take. But I think now I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Bought my first ball in I think four plus months, and now I actually have kind of a path back to cricket. I know the next thing is the English season. Um, been fortunate to be offered the privilege to captain Birmingham Bears in the Blast, so I know that that's sure play, and that's definitely something to look forward to. Um, and they've been really good with allowing me to use the facilities when I want to. So I try to now go up there a few days every week, in between commentary, start to make plans to skipper, but more importantly, as a player, start to get back into the groove of things. So as hard as it has been, I've been very privileged as well to have that kind of support where I've had it. But there were definitely some tough times, and I hope that when I get back on the park, that I can find the mental strength to believe in the work that I would have put into my body to get back ready and not worry about re-injuring myself.
Good to hear.
Okay.
And as you know, we'll be supporting the Bears from Barbados for sure.
For
So
sure, for sure. That was fun. Carlos, you know your jersey number is 26. Is the
Mhm.
significance of that number or that number was given to you?
Um, no, I didn't know significance to be honest. I was about to be when I was about to make my debut for Barbados. They had two numbers, 26 and 28. Um, and I just knew I wanted to play for West Indies, and I had to play for West Indies. And I a loyal man. I like continuity, consistency. And I was just like, I don't want to choose a jersey number now. And then if I play for West Indies in 2 or 3 years, got to change my number to something else. Like I want my number to be synonymous with me. Same way Ronaldo is number 7. Everywhere he go, he can be number 7. So I went and checked. Devon Smith had 28. Nobody had 26. So it's all right. That's my number. That's my number.
A couple more. What's the favorite place to tour and why?
Favorite place to tour? Um, I would go say Australia. I love Sydney. Sydney is probably my favorite city um, in the world, just because you could get out of the hotel, you could do a lot of stuff. And the subcontinent is a lot more difficult. I think they idolize cricketers a lot more than Australia, England, West Indies, etc. So anytime you're leaving the hotel, you need to have security, whether it's to a restaurant, to a mall. So whilst yeah, it's sometimes good to feel as like you're important or whatever, sometimes you just want to get away and go somewhere, sit down and drink a tea, a coffee, a beer, a whiskey. Sometimes you just need a whiskey. Um, and then in Australia, the pitches are so good, but you know where you can get. Every time I go to Australia, it's get hit in my head too. But I used to play enough shots too, so you know you can get a marble, a short ball, it come in bad height. If you don't get out the way, you can get crunk on your head. But you know that when you man pitch up or a ball at the length, you can play through the line of the ball. So on the field, I love it for that reason. For some reason, the fans in Australia take to me too. I think when I toured with the test team, I was one of the shining lights the way that I played the game. I only get one wicket, but with the bat, like it was real attacking. I think that kind of resonated with them with how poorly we had played in their series. And then straight after, I was back there with the Sixers and the Thunder. And I think they just, I won't say fall in love with me. I think that would be too far of a step, but they take to me, and I enjoy the rapport with the crowd, the banter. So off the field is fun because you can just go where you want to go. It's a beautiful place as well. And then on the field, it just suits the way I have to play the game. I can hit my length, get a little bit of seam movement, get a decent bounce, and with the bat, you can play through the line.
Um, just one final question from me. Obviously, you have a quite extensive business portfolio. Where did this business acumen come from? Was this something pre-planned from Comamere days? Were you watching a documentary and you see LeBron James or something? Where did this come from? Because remember, it started out with Trident. Correct me if I'm wrong. Then Village Eats, and now you're donning one of your shirts, Gentry.
Um, I know, boy. I can't say that one thing flipped the switch, but for some reason I just never wanted to work for someone, and that sounds real bad because I'm not one of the people that like to denigrate and downplay a 9 to 5. But I guess I just wanted to own things. So from as far as I can remember, I used to draw on my back, and this is my brand, think this is what I would do. And I was a hustler. I sell some of everything from lollipops to chips at school to force my mother to blend up drinks and then carry them to school and hustling them. Um, I used to sell Chinese TV phones. Yeah, brother, like, I would just source things, and if I realize, man, this costs $8 and I can sell it for 8.50, I would try to see if I can make a buck from it. Um, and yeah, I think as I say, I was privileged. Like, I don't want people to think that, Carlos worked hard and he make it, and everybody else that ain't make it ain't work hard. There's a lot of luck that's involved in that as well. You got to be the right place, the right time, perform at
Correct.
the
And
right
it's just
time.
time, eh?
Yeah, so I was privileged to have the life and lead the life that I live. And I think with Trident was more of a happenstance thing. I was in Ireland and I wanted a long blade bat that had some men that I know that ain't half as good as me, who had 20% or 30% deals with GM and Gray Nichols and all that. And one of the guys that I connected well with was an Indian, and he knew someone from one of the factories. And he said, I could get you a bat if you want. I could get them to make you pads and gloves if you want. I was like, right, all right, fair enough. I went drop a little Trident. He's a Bajan man. I go let people know where I'm from. And that was where Trident Sports was born. Um, and I learned a lot of lessons throughout Trident Sports. And the Village Eats is more of a passion project with a few friends. We got together and I said, look, I don't want to be that person that was privileged. Um, and then my friends struggling. My friends are really struggling, but I felt as though we had so much to offer as a group, that if I could bring everybody under one umbrella, we could then invest or create smaller businesses, that we could kind of create a portfolio as a group and offer something for our kids, um, to pass down to them when we eventually get to that age. And we came up with the idea that food sells. Um, my One of my best friends worked for Westmoreland for Marriott, got a fantastic hand, and she's the main chef. And then everyone
Look at
around that
Kelly.
would, yeah, Kelly, everyone around that would support her. And then for Gentry, um, this was probably 18 months or so in the making. So I had two ideas. One thing that frustrates me is banking in the Caribbean, and I wanted to have a digital only bank, but I found a lot of red tape where that was concerned. And then the other idea was Gentry. And for me, I hate the fact, I would love to say that I pro black. I hate the fact that, every time you look at a black brand, is a $10 t-shirt brand or $25 t-shirt brand. No disrespect to whoever has a $10, $25 t-shirt brand, that's your path. But looking at it from a pro-black standpoint, why do all of our brands have to be that? But then Virgil Abloh gonna be hired by Louis Vuitton to make $25,000 clothes. I think that's a big disparity. So how can I then use fashion, which is something that all black people connect with, to try to offer the next little man that good with art or good on the computer or maybe got a good craft mind? How can I use some of the money that I would have been afforded and privileged with to create something that I could then help give back through fashion? And that's how Gentry was born. So eventually I want to be able to offer scholarships so people could do footwear making or footwear design or clothing design. And I want people to come through Gentry and stay with Gentry forever. I want them to be a few other t-shirt brands that cost $10, and I want to be a few other t-shirt brands that cost 60 and 70 pounds per t-shirt. But I just want that as an ecosystem that black people could be sustainable through something that we love, which as all we could agree on, fashion is one of them.
Facts, facts. Carlos, I know we have we on a strict timeline here, but Carlos, we got so many questions and we like that. But if there's one question, Carlos, that I know, I mean, I was privy to get the answer to this question already, but I know the viewers would really like to hear the answer to this question, Carlos. End of the 19th over. We going to the workout here. End of the 19th over. I want to know what was the conversation between you and Marlon Samuels. What was the plan going into that 19th over? And I want you to talk us through those 4 deliveries that you lost for 6. And I can't say win the workout fast, but help win the workout fast.
Boy, I ain't gonna lie. I was real sorry that Marlon missed that ball at the end of 19th over. I was hoping Marlon would be on strike. I ain't gonna lie. But be that as it may, when we get there, Marlon was just like, do or die, like you gotta swing for the hills, brother. I mean, I think that worked in my favor in a way. It wasn't like 7 or 8 where you had to think, like you just had to swing.
Mhm.
And I punched gloves, and I don't know if he think or thought I would have, tried to hit a 6 first ball or whatever. But all I was telling myself is, all right, here we big man, get the ball in the air, right? And even if you get caught, make sure you
Cross.
cross, and Marlon will win the game. Like I believe in Marlon Samuels.
Mhm.
Even we play CPL, like I always say, Marlon, I know all we gotta do is get you to a big game and you're gonna win it for us. So I was at the other end thinking, I don't want to mess this up. So I won't waste no deliveries. Let me get the ball in the air, let me get the match winner on the strike, and the World Cup is ours. And it was first
Simple.
ball was a bad ball. I pick it up and he went for 6. I was all right, cool. Marlon I was real zoned in, and I was proper tuned in then. And I
Marlon
was just
was
like
staying
watch the
off,
ball.
but
Yeah, Marlon running around the stump and thing. And like, big man, that's only one. So we got a real run to score, brother. The next one come out the screws. That one went far. Um, and I knew that I had middle that one. Oh, Marlon, zoom. Like, brother, relax. Like, it ain't done. It ain't done. And I look up at the scoreboard and saw 19 runs, 6 balls, but I didn't look back at the scoreboard since. From then on, it was just watch the ball and react, get the ball in the air. Because if you cross Marlon and win the game. And then the third six, I get the ball in the air, but I thought I spliced it.
Yeah.
And then I see Matt mid off, going back, going back, going back. I said, right, good, that's 6. It's only then that I really say, like, you know what, Carlos, you got to do real bad to not win this game for me. Like, you could enjoy it. You could enjoy it a little bit. And I think too, looking back, and I went through this with the club that I was at in Ireland, and we actually went through the whole recording, and we talk about what could have done differently. And from a captaincy point of view, I think the only thing that Morgan could have done differently was slow the game down. Like when we watched it, but I think them 3 balls was ball in the space of like 2 minutes or something like that. So it was literally ball 6, ball 6, ball 6. And after the third 6, something happened with the ball in the stand, underneath the stand. It got wet or something like that. So they had to change balls. I couldn't get back that ball. And that was actually the first little bit of a break we had since the over had started. And the West Indies women, obviously, they had won. They had stayed back. Jess was there. She was my girlfriend then. I think Sir Clive Lloyd, his son was there, Phil Simmons' wife was there. So we had a nice little family area where we knew where everyone was or whatever. I was just like, brother, I want to know me. Like, I love professionalism. I like being switched on, but I love to celebrate, brother. I feel any little thing that happened for you, celebrate because life's short. I tell myself, nah, boy, enjoy this. Like, even if you get no, we at least draw the game. Like, enjoy it. And I turn around and I get some big ones, blow some kisses and things. And then it was just like, all right, settle back down now. But you had enough time because the ball went under there. So in hindsight, I was real happy that I did take that time to just, that was my little 10-second where I
Yeah,
was in
switch
the
off.
arena. Yeah, I was in the arena. I let it go. I get out of the moment and, paying respects to the madam for being there, for the West Indies women for staying on. They didn't have to. They could have gone back and watch it from the team room or whatever. And then, last ball, that one come with the screws too. And I'm going to be honest, not just saying it to make it sound good, but I didn't know the ball went for 6. So I knew mid on and mid off were up. I knew that ball come with the screws. I knew once I got it over the infield, it was at least 4. We ain't playing that blend him that the ball can plug. As soon as the ball come with his screws, I was like, boom, we win. And I turn around, hand in the air or whatever, the man run on. Somebody bust my lip with the helmet. And it was just like, yeah. And it was a nice moment with the Bajan boys walking around. So it was me, Spooner, Ben, Jace, and Ashley do a victory lap. And Ashley was like, you want to know what Ashley Nair says? Pump. You know,
We got his
you do, big
story.
man.
We
You
got his
know, do
version.
big man. You know,
He
do
gave
big
us
man.
his
You know,
version.
4 6s, big man. Right, 4 months. It's fair enough. But yeah, that man, I look at life, or try to look at life differently. You know, people see the 4 6s, and what I cherish about that was the West Indies women being there for that and being able to see what eventually would be known as a three-peat with the under 19s women and men. Being at the end of with Marlon Samuel, somebody that I looked up to, watch on TV, and I was able to share that moment with. And then I got a real nice picture that I would cherish forever with me, Jess, and the trophy on the ground. And most importantly, I was able to video call my parents and my little sister when the thing happened. So within the 4 6s being the main moment, like they had so much little narratives outside of it that, made it a lot sweeter than just the event itself. And I remember, I'm emotional. Clint will tell you, I'm an emotional fella. And one regret that I would say I definitely have is that I didn't have the balls at the time to tell the IPL team that I want to go back home with the team. So I spent one day in Kolkata, and then was off. I spent one day in Kolkata, yeah, and then it was off to Delhi to meet up with Delhi Daredevils. It was bought before these 4 6s, but obviously 4 6s now meant that boom, this man is not no just an acquisition. He's the man. No, with the 4 6s, you remember the name. So it came with a whole lot more fanfare. And I was in Delhi practicing with them, but watching a motorcade back home with the women and the men. So your heart and your soul there, but your mind trying to be there, and it was torn. I just remember being in the airport, and like I just cry, brother. Like not like proper tears. Like I got white with my hand and my shirt and thing, and it's just like, Carlos, I know if you deserve to be the person to do what you just do. And as you start to question yourself, you're lucky, you're privileged, you deserve it. And yeah, they had a lot of emotions like that. And every time I would see videos of people blowing the horns in the street in Trinidad, or St. Kitts, the men on the stadium ground, watching the game on the big screen and getting on bad, and it's like, cause all that positive emotion for a whole nation. And you, to be honest, you don't feel worthy. But that's a little snippet into the power of sport. And yeah, man, that was a sensation night for a lot of reasons.
Yeah. Lots. Any more questions for Carlos, guys? I'm pretty sure we do.
Yeah.
The time.
Yeah.
We need a part 2 and a part 3. But even I've seen those sports, like they got some sporting moments, right? Not to prolong this, but they got some sporting moments, right? And I've told Carlos this a couple of times that it's always give goosebumps as a West Indian, Bradshaw down Warne with that square joy.
That fist
but yeah, but like you know that Carlos said these 4 6s. You've seen this 10 gazillion times. The feeling does not change. And I just listening to this story, right? And I got the same goosebumps because I see everything. I can hear Bumble voice. I can hear Ian Bishop. Heaved into the lights. I can hear every single word. Crazy. So like you say, like that has touched people like forever.
For sure.
And funny enough, right, Clint? After my batting started to decline, so I think getting drop frame testing, if we do have a part 2, that's a whole another conversation. I think getting drop frame testing really hampered me mentally and technically. But yeah, I went through a period where I didn't want to hear the boy telling me, tell me like that was a burden.
Yeah.
But no, I will sit down and listen to you. Like people was coming to me. No, obviously, no, I spend more time in England.
Yeah.
So again, it's story from the other side. We're not
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
happy
yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah.
hardwood side. And yeah, people come out, and say, man, like, up to tonight in the studio, a man say, yeah, I remember that name, boy. I thought we had it in the bag, like, no, we actually embracing it. Like,
Yeah.
people's worked so hard for that one moment, and yeah,
Yeah.
mine come a little earlier than probably a lot more people expected, but yeah, that's a moment that I would always cherish, boy. For the amount of love that I touch in a positive way, it's something that is looked back on fondly. And funny enough, when you talk about looking back at a video, I do look back at the video with the 4 6s, but there's a video of a shop in Lodge Road where I grew up in Lodge Road.
Right.
And a few of the men I close with just work at banks and was lying at the shop. And I remember the emotion in that shop, brother. The shop packed, beer banks on the table, so you know the men go out and drinks in. And you know where after this way how people just be and the way that them people get on, right? I like obviously if I see John Brown from the shop tomorrow, you might tell me, Carlos, you're not damn good. But in that moment, to be able to be the person that got people getting on the way that them get on, boy.
Car-
I think that video
I
stands
remember that, like, Carlos, like, I mean, I was in my living room watching this game, obviously, Carlos. I mean, people like in the next gap, Carlos. Like, I could hear the screams like loud and clear, Carlos. I could hear it. Like, it was amazing. People outside running up and down. It was amazing, Carlos. Like, unbelievable. Like, a moment in time you would never ever. That is something you would never ever forget as long as they are right, Mike. Never forget.
My mother and my house is one of the houses in Sergeant's Village that a door open to anybody. Whether you're homeless, whether I know you or don't know you, you could go there and shout Miss Brathwaite, and my mother and father will have a conversation about you. My father will probably end up cussing me too, I can tell you. But in that moment, like, they have videos where people just walk into the house and was like, congrats, and it's like the whole of West Indies win, but them get to share a little bit in that moment where they would have felt like the superstar, the person that batting and thing. And for me, them moments mean just as much as somebody coming up to me, because they hardly get to experience that sort of thing. I never forget, my father would tell me, I tell my father, man, daddy, I ain't handling this publicity well in India, yeah. Real people won't see it, and like, I claustrophobic. So when in an airport and you got 50 people coming from each side, like, I struggle with that. And my father said, man, Ricky, man, the people just like you, embrace it and thing. When I was told I get offered the captaincy and I accept, and I was told this first series is in Miami, I fly out the family, I fly out my mentor and his family so they could be there to share the moment. And it was in Miami, brother. And Indian people in America all descend from Miami to the point where people were sleeping in the lobby to try to get to us. I never forget my father come down the elevator the first time and bust the elevator door, and it was just like, people, you can't see that desk to check in, nothing, just people. And he did so. And it's like, come, daddy, come, man. Come, stubborn daddy, embrace it. The people just like it.
Just let you.
Then he get a glimpse of what really going on. But yeah, it's good. It's good to be living the life that I live, I can be honest, and then being able to share that with your family and allow them to see some nice parts of the world and the way that I will see it is probably one of the best joys of the job that I do.
But just one last thing, miss. I wonder where this village is though, as a foodie.
So you know where Trader Sports is.
He don't know where Trader Sports.
That's how you know Trader Sports is. If you come in from Cigar Few suburbs roundabout, going to what was JB's, I think is now Price Low. The first right after Price Low, you follow the road, there's a bit S bend, continue straight. In the second S bend on the right hand side, you can see a one-story quote unquote bungalow. That's the Trident Sports Workshop, and to the back of that is Village Eats. So they got a nice little bit of seating area. We built a kitchen at the back. and it is a nice little hideaway. So we ain't competing with champers. We ain't fine dining, so don't come there in a square mouths. Nowadays, sir, come there in a pair of jeans, come there in a pair of slippers. The man can kill you with drinks,
For
4 or
sure.
5 for 10, and the crate don't shut when the food in it. So that's the type of vibe that we
Easy.
creating, music blaring.
That's Friday
Nah,
night
but-
food and Saturday morning food. No, he's not exaggerating. For real, it's one of them vibes.
Well, Carlos, I we definitely got have parts. Well, don't listen definitely. It obviously be up to you, but me personally, I still have a couple of questions. I didn't know the guys still have some more questions, but in the interest of time, we get definitely have to move on here. We had the first test match, the West Indies versus England, started yesterday. West Indies, the ball first. We had England, the boat of England this morning, 311, I think, and England ended up on. Had the Seals taking 4, and I think Kemar Roach and Jason Holder picking up some wickets as well. Kemar
Azari's one.
led. Pardon?
Continue, just continue.
Kemar definitely leading for the front four. Started off pretty well, yesterday morning, and West Indies in response ended on 202 for 4 today. Got both openers got off the pretty good start. I think we were 80 out without loss. Frank Brathwaite batted pretty well. Scored a half century. John Campbell, got my guy John Campbell. Really, got to 35 on, and then he got out, and then we had some slumps in the middle, but then Jason Holder and Warne, steadied the ship and rallied the guys to 204. Like I said, close of play today. Still, I think West Indies are definitely in the driver's seat at the moment. Hopefully, the guys just a lot depends on this partnership, in my opinion. Hopefully, one of these guys could bat deep and give us a steady lead, and hopefully we could boil out England cheap I should say, and go on to win this first test match. But again, open up the floor to again, let Carlos go first as the guest on the show. Carlos, I just want to get your thoughts on the first 2 days play thus far.
I'd say very well started with the ball. Kemar really showed class, especially set up at Alex Lees, and then to get a batsman the caliber of Joe Root alone, pinching the top of our stump, that was sensational. I think our cricket smarts let us down a bit. You could see how disciplined England were in the period where the ball got soft against Warne and Jace, versus how wayward we were. And we did a stat today to show that in the first 40 balls after lunch, because we pretty much had the first session sewn up, Bairstow and Stokes tried to wrestle back a little bit of momentum and halt proceedings. But then the first 40 balls after lunch, one ball would have hit the stump to Bairstow. And Bairstow is synonymous for getting LBW and ball down with the ball running back from just outside our stump, challenging off and middle peg. So I think that was poor planning and poor execution. Or don't let me say poor planning, because I wasn't privy to the plans, but it was poor execution. And then you get past that and you get into today where we got a few wickets. I thought it pivoted nicely to being more aggressive. It paid dividend. And then there's a couple of times there where we had them 285 or 6. And then they lost 2 quick wickets, or 285 for 7, they lost 2 quick wickets. And they got to the stage then where we still had 2 slips in the gully. Jace bowled a wide slow ball at Bairstow, the first ball of the over. When really and truly you could have the field spread, let Bairstow get a single and ball at Mark Wood. We didn't do that. So he got a boundary. And then the last ball of the over, he get a single. Like, these is things that Clint will be upset if the men don't do.
For sure.
On a test level, I don't think that should be something that we should gloss over. That there is something for Craig and Phil Simmons to look at and to be better at. But that being said, I loved how we started with the bat. Positive without being reckless. And funny enough, The way that John Campbell and Craig eventually got it was a little ponderous and a little tentative. Craig way on the back foot and just pushing at the ball instead of slapping it or leaving it as he been doing very well. And then John Campbell, instead of really hitting the ball, trying to play a cute little fancy shot and it catch the glove. But you can't take anything away from the opening stand. And I think their opening stands were one of the things that did well for us and held us in good stead in 2019 when we won against England at home. I was disappointed with Brooksy, my childhood friend. I know he has a lot better in the locker than he showed, especially with that dismissal. But I was really pleased with Jace and Bonner, how well they fight and, give you some of that grit and determination that Stokes and Beerstow showed. It's just now for one of the two of them or both of them to go on and get an 80 and 90 or 100 and get to party with our 311 and maybe get a 350, 360 and put England on your back foot.
Yeah, for me, I think is very important. It's always important to get a lead, but this wicket could easily deteriorate. I think from day one, some balls were keeping low and there's not a lot of pace and bounce in the wicket. And I expect that Jack Leach probably will play a part in the second inning. So getting a lead is extremely crucial. When I say lead, they don't mean a 10-run lead or a 20-run lead. We got to get a sizable lead. And as Carla said, really and truly, I just said to the guys in the chat, this wicket is crying out for one of our batters to score 100 on it. I don't think it's not a road, but it's a relatively easy pace wicket for us to bat on. So Jace and Bonner, the plan for sure has to be to start in the morning, and then you really want to see at least one of the two of them go on to get a big 100 and push us past England's 311. So yeah, I think the game is evenly poised, and yeah, we got to hold on to our catches in the second innings. Obviously, I don't think our catching was good. A lot indecision, some balls went in between. I don't know if the guys ain't picking up the ball properly or what, because it's there was an issue there with the server, and I can't remember who was out for a slip. And then there was one with Jace. Campbell, yeah. And then there was one with Jace a little early on day one as well too. Nobody really reacted. I think that was Stokes. So yeah, we got to be a little bit tidy as Carla said, the bowling performance. I can see England bowling to some plans, especially after that she came back there at Craig. And the guys got a square leg just in front, a short mid wicket, a mid on, and the plan obviously is to bowl straight. They conceded some boundaries because they were too wide early on, so you can see clear plans. And we got to take a leaf out of there, but as it relates to that when we do bowl in the second innings. But yeah, game evenly poised, and it's all about who could blink. Well, who takes longer to blink in this second half of the game.
Oh, what was said, right?
Right. At this stage of the game, I think it's 50-50. Before the game, I think West Indies would have taken dismissing England for 311. I would beg to differ based on this England batting lineup. Some new guys around, but when you look back on, they had the guys 48 for 4. You understand? I thought that was a big opportunity for West Indies to make further inroads and probably look to get England bowled up for under 200. But Johnny Bairstow not one of them.
Who released the
Johnny
pressure?
Bairstow, you're going to have your time. You're going to have your time, sir. All right? Johnny Bairstow, not my favorite player, not the prettiest player, but sometimes when you have that fight, a heart of a lion, you understand? Something that makes up for a lot. So,
yeah,
probably had 100 or so in the last Ashes game or this fourth, but carry on his good form. And that was a very crucial partnership, even with him and Stokes before lunch. The shutdown shot. They can see if we can make it to lunch, reassess, and then go from there. And then Bairstow and Stokes again, they had a nice partnership. And Fox played some very good cricketing shots. Then West Indies showed his class. Jason was like, at one stage, Jason bowled 5 overs for no runs and 20 over for 19 runs and stuff like that. So all in all, was an even battle today. The West Indies batted fantastic. We were like 120 overs or something like that. It was like, whoa. And Craig was the aggressor today. There were clear plans to probably attach Leach That's I saw that from. You can hear me?
Loud and
Yeah.
clear,
Oh,
sir.
I saw that from the Australians against Leach and the Ashes as well. Don't let Leach settle. I think West Indies will try to do that today. But I think tomorrow is the most crucial day of this test match. Who wins tomorrow probably wins this first test. So West Indies going to try to at least get to 300 or pass it. And England going to try to probably limit West Indies to probably 260 or so. I think try to go and post a very good lead.
I see Nero, you forget Jaden Seals, buddy. You might have the four, sir. You forget. You only mentioned Roach and Jace. And
No,
also, for me, what I would say is today clearly show how bad England miss Brother Anderson. That was some of the worst opening bowling I've seen by a professional cricket team in a long time. It was no plan, no line, no line. A lot of volley, a lot of freebies, a lot of long. I'm like, I, cri- I'm just, and then and they can see the commentator saying this will be left one brother Anderson. So, like it was under pressure. Like you on the play, no pressure. This is a nut. This is a yes. This is a new but still old opening combination. Call your cycle back to John Campbell again, and it wasn't in the plan. Like nobody bought the plan. And to me, we get England. We first three wickets. Like nobody can tell me that England ball quality balls and go. These men be getting the wickets. We was sailing. Had Campbell and Brathwaite not gifted England, we could have probably been almost 200 probably for one or without loss because England wasn't trying to me. They wasn't doing that with the ball. It wasn't the deliveries that are saying, ooh, it's swinging. Like to me, this was like Bailey's on the 11th side playing against uh, a Cormier or law school on the 19th. Like the ball in terms of bowling, like it was all over the place. It was no plan. And they know brother Anderson got me home smiling saying, look, when I left you home, I got a man bowling this year. So hopefully I don't expect the bowling to change tomorrow. Cause Store's like he's still coming back from injury and still trying to work in, so he can't bowl a lot neither. So I don't see that threatening that we can get over 350, probably 400 tomorrow.
I'll be
All
fun. Let
right.
me see where that goes.
For me, tomorrow, these two will get to at least the first. These two will get to 11 o'clock, and then go from the two overnight batsmen. I'll get to 11 o'clock and then go from there. Bill from there, and if we could get a 50 odd 60 lead, I think we in there. Right now, for me, even Stevens, but I think if you get 50 or 61 lead, we in the ascendancy. Your guy JS, 35. He needs to just. I'm begging him to convert these starts into something. He didn't
Yeah, I
look good
agree.
today. He didn't look good today. I tell you, when I'm on that log off on me a couple episodes ago, game happened me tonight. Cause John looking good. That's the 11 one. Check cricket 47 more for 35. Like, Lord have his my mercy. He needs to convert these starts.
Yeah, he does. He does. I agree.
Yeah, I agree as well. I can't say no.
Yeah. But all in all, I just say, going back to day one, I think we take we foot off the gas after lunch too. Because somebody said, I can't remember, one of the guys said that England would probably take, or West Indies would probably take Bono England for 311. But West Indies should have bowled England. If
That's
England
before
get
the game.
200
That's
runs,
before the game.
that's before the game.
Before the game.
From 47 or 50 a little bit before at lunch. England should have been lucky to score 200.
We all know who released
in my opinion, to
pressure.
get 100.
We all know
I
who
can't go
released
that
pressure.
reward. I'm not
But
going on that reward.
nobody ain't gonna watch that. But
But
we
you
all
should have
know
said
who
when you
released
had your
pressure.
chance to talk, bro, brother. You want to say that, man?
Correct.
You talk about England. You talk about the England
But
bowler.
brother, Anderson get left
You
one.
talk about Braun Anderson home and the poor bowler you see today. You want to say that, man? You yeah, what's that?
because he say he already got picked. Well, he can't beat that. But I know as long as he
But he
playing,
get
he can release the pressure.
honestly, right? True, but yes, but and I guess the same will be for Shamar as well. Based on he come up with ball for him, I guess that will push you into the test. So,
Oh, you mean I think?
but
Man.
but you know, let me hope that he come back in second innings. Let me hope we get at least 50, 60 runs. One of these guys score 100. Yeah, don't score a big 50, if not 100. Get a lead. Ball up eventually the second innings. If you get a good start in second innings, do a release the pressure. And we want to love her at this first test here.
Mm. Well, as the guys say, hopefully the guys can bat deep tomorrow. These two come back deep tomorrow, and hopefully we could post a sizable lead, and hopefully follow England cheek and um register a win for this first test match. And guys, over the past few days, we would have heard of the very tragic news of the passing of Australian and cricketing legend in Sharon Warne. I think Clint was the first person that brought it to our attention when he posted it
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in the group. I was shocked. I was doing some work there and I was shocked. I was just like, what? I Then I saw it all over social media. It was really a shocker to me. Very very sad day for world cricket. Carlos, I don't know before you go if you would have ever had the opportunity to actually meet Shane Warne, and if you did, if you have any stories you would like to share, what was it like, interacting with Shane?
Um, I guess unfortunately, I haven't played under him as a coach, so I would have met him and had brief interactions. But I'm not gonna sit here and say, me and him were best mates, and this is X story and Y story. We didn't have those type of interactions, but the few and brief interactions that you would have, there was something infectious about him. It was kind of a different aura. It feel as though you're in the presence of greatness. And I guess a lot of times you look up to people, and I even put a tweet about it. They got certain people that you don't think they will ever pass. And it's one of them things where when you hear Shane Warner's passed, you're Googling this and you're Googling that, you're trying to see if it's fake news or a prank or whatever, because you just think that somebody that as good as he was on the field was probably invincible off it. Um, and a lot of people would have said, off the field, um, he was as inspiring and as expressive as he was on the field with the ball in hand. And I think the general consensus is that the world of cricket and the world at large has lost a good human being. Um, and yeah, I mean, the tributes would have been flowing in. And I mean, for me, the persons that would have defined an era, and you think about when Kobe Bryant was lost and our whole era, whenever we get a piece of paper, a wrapper, and we shoot it on the garbage can, we will say Kobe.
Yeah.
For me, when I was growing up, anytime somebody do that, any sort of wrist spin, right or left-handed, they would hear bowling shine. And it's them things as resonate with, and not a lot of people have that impact on a whole generation. He definitely did. He inspired a whole generation of leg spinners and made leg spin sexy to do again, which is the hardest art. I think he was probably the first of this leg spin club. You look and see Imran Tahir for a while. Ahmed now talking to Hayden Walsh, Karan Katoy, Adam Zampa, Rashid Khan. All the leg spinners stick together and always share knowledge and share trades. Adil Rashid. So I think he was the first of that. He made it the popular thing to do again. And yeah, rest in peace, Shane Warne.
Yep.
Yeah, that is real. Like Carl said, that's real legendary status. Same how we would, idolize Brian Lara if you're left-handed and got a high bat lift. That's what Shane Warne definitely was. And I just, was thinking back to some on the field stuff. I remember in the 2005 Ashes, one of the most famous test series that they probably ever had. And if the new ball bowlers did not do it, literally Shane Warne would be at slip fingers just itchy. I just telling Partin, yeah, are you ready for it now? Are you ready for it now? I literally went straight and one go. It was like if you are at the ground, you watching a show right before your eyes. It ain't just cricket. Shane Warne was putting on a show for
Entertainer.
you. The man's proper entertainer. Throw the
Yep.
ball to the man, and best believe something would happen each and every time Shane Warne had the
Correct.
ball in his hand. It's absolute legend, and yeah, the game has lost a great man. Obviously, I've been reading some things that people would have been saying about him, and yeah, it's sad. And like Carlos said, he's never really feel that a man is showing one capacity. That's not supposed to happen. That in the script,
Correct.
But
Correct.
we
Correct.
don't write the script, unfortunately. So that's out of our hands. And yeah, rest in peace to him, and yeah, condolences to his family and friends.
Correct. Well, guys, we're gonna let Carlos go. I know I don't. Carlos, what time is it in England right now?
Yeah, I was gonna apologize for having to leave, but it's 1:48 a.m.
Whoa.
and I on set again tomorrow, so there's gonna be a few
Billing scam.
there gonna be a few coffees. Billings actually not in. Billings not in tomorrow. He gonna prepare for IPL.
Okay.
But yeah, a few coffees gonna be on order in the
Yeah.
morning. But yeah, it was a pleasure, man. And I'm looking forward to part 2, I guess.
Yes.
So
Glad to
thanks
hear
for
you say
having
that.
me. Clint,
I can
Clint,
hold, I can
love
hold
that.
on to you. I can hold on
Yeah,
to
Clint,
you.
yeah, but thanks for having me. It was a pleasure, man. I enjoy good conversation. Um, and for the viewers, Jace had to let Sunny know don't be too controversial. But yeah, enjoy the rest of the night, and I look forward to watching the remainder of the recording.
Yeah.
Just one thing before you leave, sir.
Before,
You can't
before
let
you
it
go,
go. Yeah, you can't let it
wait,
go.
don't do that yet. Don't do that yet, Before you go, Carlos, I know the busy man, but one thing I would like you to start back there, right, is you see them video cheat lives. I enjoy those, brother. I enjoy those.
Yeah,
Them video
I,
cheat
I
lives,
look back
you
at I
see
look back at
me.
a couple. I look back at a couple the other day, and it was like, yeah, you missed out, boy. That could have gone big, but things just didn't work
Correct,
out
but
how it was supposed to.
yeah.
Yeah, before you go, Carlos, once again, thanks for the interview. Greatly appreciated, especially with the time difference. But until we get that part 2, is there anyone you would like to see on Bench Talk? But you're gonna help us, you're gonna plug us in with that person.
Um, put me on the spot, boy.
I ain't
Um,
gonna do that, you're gonna do that.
Good
I
person to
actually, I,
trust.
I actually got Jace, and Nikhil's um exclusive to watch. Um, but I think Jace is someone that is at the stage of his career now where he's being more open, less political, dare I say. And I think as good friends of his, I think his story is a nice one to tell as well. I think Jace come into the international team in
10 or
2014
11. Still it?
or 2013, 22.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's been out of all 3 formats at between then and now. There's almost a decade. So that's elite level consistency. He's always been a part of at least one format. Um, so yeah, now he's transitioning to a franchise player. Nikhil Uttam Chandani, he's probably someone else. Joe Manning, and
Yeah.
there's from the other side. They're on the more media presenting side of things, but they're both doing big things in their own right. Joel is actually working with BT for coverage for this series, and we would have worked together in the Caribbean for your 19 World Cup as well. So I love to see young black men that positive and work hard succeed. And those are 3 of the men that could come to mind immediately.
We can make it easier. We had Joel, so it's
We
two.
had Joel already.
Had Joel already.
Yeah, so it's two.
And I
So
actually had to force him to say that he's one of the better people that you work with. I had to force that out of him. I hope he's watching right now. I had to remind him. Sorry, let's not force. I had to remind him that he worked with you. Yeah.
And luckily we gave free price going up. No,
price gone. The price shoot up, boy. Even man they working for a home nighter, and man get flued out.
Whoa.
Probably Nikhil. If you want me to, I could ask him if he'd be able to. I know he's in Canada. He's at school, and in between that, he's working, doing a few odd jobs, managing social media and stuff. But that type of man he is. You always want to be involved in cricket. I don't think he'll be as controversial as the Sunny, but he ain't gonna be as diplomatic as Clint. So it'll be a nice little conversation. And Nikhil's a stats man too, so you could throw some things at him. So I could have a chat with Nikhil if you want, but I think he'd be a good addition to your podcast.
Appreciate that.
Hey, all right, set it up. Thank you.
Easy. Thanks for having me, man.
Thanks, guys.
We really appreciate it. We really appreciate it. Thanks, buddy. You're the best going forward, bud.
Thank you.
All righty. Guys, wow, nearly 2 hours in, boy.
I tell you, it really could be a part 3. You could do a part 2 and 3. No, seriously, we don't even train.
Because I had at least 3 to 4 questions there. I didn't know you guys.
Yeah.
I didn't know you guys
playing together. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's a long thing. Workout hundreds.
We chat
New
in
Zealand.
CCC. Yeah.
Scoring 350s for the rest of these 3 matches in Test cricket and not playing the game. So
we get to the media side. It's that's a 3-part. That's what trilogy. What can you have just now?
Yeah.
According to he, controversial Hassan, Hassan has always been a stand-up guy, pretty much.
Well, guys, quickly, we're just gonna touch briefly on the cricket we had. What happened to Zani?
Nah, I listen. I know the time I listen.
Oh yeah. Just briefly. Yeah, very very brief. Unfortunately, 2 hour mark here. I'm gonna go off script a bit. I want to speak briefly on the form that the West Indies women are currently in. Yesterday we had Haley Matthews and Dottin getting off the flyer. A great start yesterday, and then we actually got to 220 odd. Yeah,
33 or so, I think.
Or 30 odd, I should say, and then bowling out England. A good nail biting match in the end. Bowling out England, I think just under 220, I think England were bowled up for. So and I think Haley scored 100 in the first match.
Yeah,
she scored 100 in the first match. So far, the rest of these women have been showing great form, and that catch from DeAndre Daughter yesterday. Oh gosh!
Sure.
As I was telling the Roper show, that was Paul Collingwood-esque. That was a screamer of a catch.
Right? But you know what's funny? That the beat the defending champions and tournament favorites first 2 games.
Yes.
And the analysts were talking about it today. They're saying West Indies surprised them honestly because coming into the tournament, South Africa would have beat them. But this is all about everything clicking and the culture at the right time.
Yeah.
And they're saying because I think it's 8 teams, so you play everybody once. So some teams are already struggling to make the semifinals because obviously you win your first 2. This is the top 5 is the best of the best, and the other 3 is easy wins. So you take up wins against 2 big horses. You pretty much got one. They say you pretty much got 1 foot in the semifinal. So it's for the other teams now to catch up. They said Australia will always be Australia. Them coming into the tournament 34 They have not lost either in 34 or 39 ODIs. They have won their last either 34 or 39 ODIs on a stretch. So they will always be Australia.
Yeah,
But it have to be women.
like we said on your show, you're gonna need performances from Haley, from DeAndre, um, from Stephanie, and
Stephanie,
then
yeah.
yeah. So I mean,
Several,
Stephanie has not, she's not really hit the ground running in the tournament so far, but obviously Haley, with 2 scores there, Haley is definitely batting the best that she's ever batted. We always knew the talent was there, and you would get some performances here and there, but her game is so complete at this stage. Her batting game, I'm speaking about, and it's really really good to see. So obviously looking forward to her continuing that form.
Tremendous.
DeAndre there in that first game, the confidence to the captain looking around for somebody to bowl and their conferences here and there, and DeAndre's just like, get the ball to me. Just get it to me. You know what I mean? I thought and just hearing Haley and Stephanie relaying the story and what's not was pretty funny. If you know DeAndre is even funnier. So yeah, I just think that we coming together nicely. Got shout out to Nation and what's the other girl in the middle? Oh, Campbell. Yeah, just chipping in there in the second game as well to get us to fighting total as well.
Yeah.
So very good all round performances. I think that we have a lot of bowling options. Stephanie didn't bowl in the first game and stuff like that. DeAndre only bowled 1 over, which was the last over. So we have options in the bowling department, and the batters at this stage have been doing their job. So yeah, you gotta watch the West Indies, because clearly we have our tails up, and looking forward to us putting in a good account for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not gonna be too long. Kudos to the women, 2 brilliant victories, fantastic form from Haley. I still in the final with 2 of them opening. To be honest, I still think you should split them, but it's worked so far. But obviously, as the tournament progresses, it's cricket, and you got a game where the new ball tall and 2 of them go. You understand? So I'm not a big fan of them, those 2 opening and Stephanie. But you never know. This might be the tournament. Everything just clicks.
Click, yeah.
And you understand, and it happens. Hopefully, it does. And hopefully they stay grounded and where you beat one of the favorites in England, you beat the host. Obviously, Australia, whenever they play, is going to be a big challenge in India, but you got to make sure to take care of the Sri Lankas and those teams, Pakistan. Do what you got to do and get to the semifinals, and you never know what's going to happen.
And sorry, go ahead, Rudy.
Yeah. Even Shahad and Nero, I remember when they lost the 2 warm-up games. I can't remember who the person was. I can't remember if it was the captain, if it was Courtney Walsh, but somebody said the batting guard gave us at least 200, and the bowlers could defend it. And so far, whoever it was that said that seems to be correct.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on. And quickly, guys, just lastly, we're gonna Hassani's Australia. You're shaking your head already.
Don't for a drop.
He's a disgrace. He come on bed and he sells the first day. Oh, this bitch. He's looking for an excuse. He thinking the man can come and 500. That's scared of the move. He had a confidence in his team. Oh, this
I never said the man was cutting me up, buddy.
But you know the man, Nero?
He come up early. This bitch. Oh, this bitch.
Boy.
Second there, no. Or third there. Nobody posting, no.
Yeah, you post highlights bright and early one day. Like, to tell me that I put your body in there. I mean, yeah. All right.
That's for their grandpa, you about it.
Right. But it was good for the. You know who won at the end of the day? Cricket in Pakistan, and that was what I'm happy for. The fans were able to get cricket.
You can hear all that talk though.
You working with PCB,
You can hear all of that for they thought though.
But honestly, I don't think I play him to starting second test. No,
That you right now?
Who you play?
Yeah, I can scroll over Pakistan, man. I don't play. I play Mr. Starting second test.
Oh,
Most
Star.
lethal bowler. Come on.
How
You need
easy?
variety, brother. You need to play left hand seamer. You go rest. Wanna start? Not start. Well, that means Josh makes it. No,
No. The thing is,
Thomas
Josh
is
was no
captain.
Josh no come back from an injury, you know.
Yeah,
So
he
I was
probably
a
the
little
next game.
little skeptical of how he would have. He wasn't his usual Josh self, but I know it probably gonna take a little time to he to get back in the rhythm and thing. I just want a man score 100. I just want go and baby go. Just give me 100, man. They look too good, man. Just man, balance, man. Just man, let nobody let them 100.
Yeah, Kawaja
Imam,
falling short there.
Imam had to.
Oh,
Sorry,
shoot. You don't
Pakistan
want
open
regular
had
Dallas,
to.
Sonny. Sonny, you don't want
Nero,
regular.
what was the end result of the match? The match draw, right? So point shared, right? Good, thank you. That's all I want to know. Cricket win at end of the day. You know,
Next
Sunday
game,
the first
man.
time in years that Pakistan, man had a full house playing all 5 days. Cricket
Right.
win.
Well, that's
Cricket
true.
won, man.
Cricket
Come
did
on,
win.
Nero. Sometimes you just gotta start thinking about self and think with the bigger interests at heart, buddy. Come
Another
on,
game
man.
played, Jess? Another game played?
Oh Lord. You seem to know.
Okay. Oh, I have it
Two
here.
subpar,
India
two subpar,
India
two
played
subpar size.
India played Sri Lanka in a test. Obviously, Sri Lanka coming in with a great vein of farm.
Oh.
India missing. India. Yeah, by presenting. India missing a couple key players.
Oh
Obviously,
God.
Oh
Yo.
my
gameplay.
gosh, well, you would never ever change.
Just cut it short, you know. We could cut
the
it short, you know.
the game playing at home, but added pressure to the Indians.
Whoa.
After they were reeling at first, but they managed to amass a total of 574 for 8 declare.
Whoa.
We had Ashwin with 19. Man, mute me. We had Ashwin with 61. We had Pant with 96 and Jadeja chipping in with 175 not out.
Chipping in.
Jadida would have never got 175 against no boy else.
He chipped in also with 5 for 91 and 4 for 46.
That has no propelled him to the number one or wrong.
I can get there. India managed to somehow won the game. But my question to the panel though, we often mention Jason Hold and Benjamin Stokes. Is it time to give
No, he is
AJ
not.
his juice?
No.
What his juice?
Around it in the world?
No.
No,
Next
no,
question.
he's definitely, in my opinion, he's. I mean, come on, he's definitely a great player.
But you know, but no metric, whatever metric y'all bring, y'all cannot say no.
He's in the conversation. I think he's in the conversation, but
y'all just ruled it out. Like
I wouldn't. No. He's in the conversation. I would not dismiss him.
he
I
had
think
most wickets. But
his batting has been a lot more consistent in the last 2 to 3 years as well.
JS has 300s. He has 2.
Yeah.
So whatever match 5 wicket also whatever match y'all do.
I would not dismiss it. But
I'm just saying that.
But he's in the conversation. But if I gotta pick a test team, he probably were 11. He may not. He may miss his name. I mean, he could be included depending on. He could be included depending on where the game is and combination that you want to go with.
Did they play in the World Championship final?
He made probably most runs.
So Nero, you're picking a team, and you're going for all rounder. You're going for Jadeja first.
All right, let me just put it
No. You can't ask that question.
I have to put it this way. I have to put it this way. I answering the question. You can't tell me how to answer my question.
Clint
said he'll just say it depends on where you're playing.
Okay. You answer what Clint said.
Jesus. That's all cricket team is picked.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
So in your mind, y'all think every game is not going to be played in India or the sub. So if half the cricket teams in the world is playing the sub, so if you're playing in the sub, he's going to play. If you go other places, Ben Stokes and ball about Australia. The ball about Australia. None he trade them. You understand? England, it depends. And Ben Stokes will probably be number one.
You know what I tell you? I think Shakib is better than him, full stop.
Wow.
You gone overboard now, Sonny, man.
I mean, go overboard.
You see what Carlos I tell you controversial now?
Shakib is a
But
better.
he's a top man, but
He is, but he's not Jadeja though. He's
Right.
not.
Jadeja is best fielder of the three.
He's not Jadeja.
So,
That is one era.
The best fielder in the world.
Well, fair, yeah.
Not
He's
out
the
the
best
tree.
fielder.
I know so out the tree. Any word.
He's the best. He probably you could say that he's the best fielder of the tree, but you cannot take nothing away from the fielding of the other two.
It's true. It's true.
That's the truth. You can't take nothing away from the fielding of the other.
But I just don't let the guys unlooking Jadeja.
No, I wouldn't do that. I
That's
still
all.
wouldn't do
That's
that.
all. That's all.
You
see,
probably play.
you're
You're playing subcontinent as my all-rounder. Outside of it, then you're probably going for Jason Holder or Ben Stokes. So
I've known you, Nero, near 20 years now, and obviously we've had multiple discussions about cricket and picking a World 11 and picking the best of the best. And not once have you ever talked about it depends on the where we're playing and all
Because
that.
it's close. Because you had Jack Callis, so it wasn't close. If the ball wasn't close, now everything is much closer. That's all I'm saying. Before it was Jack Callis. So the ball close, Andrew Flintoff, no. So now everybody is much closer.
Nero,
So
how much test wickets did you go?
The most.
The most.
And the most favours. The most.
What is the amount?
The
Give me a
most.
number.
It's my dad. You go in front you. The most. Yeah, know. The more favours thing.
We can see now.
you gotta get K4 on this show now.
But I guess I still
To each his own.
I still want to pick, to each his own, but I still wouldn't pick him before a Ben Stokes or Jason Holder, but he's definitely a great cricketer, no doubt about it. And to score those runs there, even if it's against a Sri Lanka.
Your sister in your backyard.
It's
still rare runs.
It's still rare runs, and the talent and the concentration and stuff you have to exercise up there to reach just kind of milestones is unmatched. So hats off to Jadeja. But guys, West Indies tomorrow. Going back there to West Indies tomorrow, hopefully. Seeing Jason Holder, because whenever Jason plays against England, especially at home, I feel Jason his tail is be up, so I am expecting that Jason can come tomorrow and back deep. Yeah, and back deep and hopefully carry on from that 43 that he's currently on. And as the guys would have said, that we can post a good total and have a healthy lead against the English tomorrow and hopefully board them out.
I got a little message for Mr. Nero. He has the most in Test cricket, but not by a lot. Shakib beat him ODIs and T20s. Anything else?
Shakib game.
You can't because there was no.
Shakib
game. Telling you.
Shakib doesn't play. He's not active. This people are active. Not active.
Man, they're active, but man, take a break. You just don't like to hear when you look in.
We know what trick cricket you bet Shakib.
Wait. Clint, did they not just say that I believe that Shakib is better than he? And he tell me no.
Who's the point ranking? Yes, you done.
I get close off it. It's been a long show. That you going for some stats then, Nero?
I just want to see if Shakib was on your rankings. They don't ask me that about number 2 or 3. Man, come on, just ain't no prove that.
Well, guys, yes, we had a good chat with Carlos tonight. Definitely looking forward to that part 2. For sure. And once again, we just want to thank all of the viewers for continuing to tune in each and every week. And do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video whenever you do get a chance to watch it. And thank you and have a good night.